Okay, so hello everyone, good day. Ako rin si Adrian Soldevilla, and today we're going to be designing a container house. Now this will actually serve as my final exam for Interior Design 1, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. When it comes to designing, it is very important to always understand the problem first. To do so, you just simply read and read and read the problem again and again and again until you finally understand it. The problem understood, now it's time to get some inspiration. Now, one of our requirements is actually to create a mood board. So what on earth is a mood board? A mood board is basically a compilation of what inspires you, whether it be existing designs, color palettes, and artworks. In my case, I wanted to go with a more tranquil bliss kind of concept. And now that we've got our source of inspiration, now it's time to do some space programming and diagramming. Now, programming is basically inputting all the necessary information needed to help you design the space. Such information includes the space requirements, estimated capacity of its space, the zoning, the activities held inside of it, and etc. Once that's done, we proceed to diagramming. Now, diagramming is a way of visually illustrating what's written on your program. This is also one way to communicate certain aspects of your design, such as proximities and adjacencies. In this case, I'm simply doing a bubble diagram and a proximity matrix which illustrates how the spaces relate to one another.
Here in my diagrams, it is important to note that I stress the importance of the adjacencies of the spaces. So here are basically the public and the semi-public spaces, and here are the fully private spaces. Now, I really wanted to stress the importance that the living and the dining should be together. They should be adjacent, as well as the dining and the kitchen should be adjacent. It makes sense. So why is the kitchen nearby to the living? That's, well, for serving snacks, ease of serving snacks. Now, the kitchen is also important to be nearby the toilet and bath. This is because it creates like an ease of plumbing and piping that makes the water run faster, you know. But the sleeping and the toilet and bath should be close to the closet, because the closet is where you put your clothes and when you change, when you want to go to the bathroom, or when you want to go to sleep. So yeah.
So once that's done, now it's time for us to proceed to space planning. So what I'm doing now is I'm drawing up the floor plan, which is derived from everything I did during the space programming and diagramming. Here, one can illustrate the furniture layout, floor finishes, the dimensions of the clearances, and the circulation paths one can take to move throughout the space. Note that when it comes to planning, it takes a lot of schemes to get the best one. What I'm showing you now is actually the finalized plan, which I derived after testing and sketching a lot of iterations.
Okay, so here's the finished floor plan. So now you enter this 90 centimeter opening that will open up to your living area, and you have a central aisle here which serves as the main circulation path for you to circulate all the facilities in this space. Now you enter to the living, and then of course the flow is the dining and the kitchen. In the kitchen, it's important to have very close or direct access to the service area right here. Now the closet is close to the toilet and bath. We've explained that in diagrams, and yeah. So the question is, where is the sleeping space? Now the sleeping space is actually here. This couch is actually a foldable couch bed. Now, the question is, the sleeping space is supposed to be a private space, so why on earth did you put it in the living area? Well, but in sleeping spaces, they're used during times of sleeping or mga gabi na. So the sleeping space actually reveals itself when it's time to sleep, or when it's time that you want the entire house to be a private space. So what happens is when you unfold this bed, it actually locks this door, or it like barricades this door. So not only is that for added protection, it's also for added privacy. So when it comes to sleeping, when you collapse your bed, boom, the entire space becomes private. So that's how it works.
After planning out the spaces, now it's time to figure out where the lights would go. So what I'm doing now is the lighting plan. Now this plan shows what lighting fixtures you're going to use in your design and how they're going to be laid
The
out.
lighting plan is pretty much simple. I just wanted to have cove lighting for general lighting, and then here are the ledges of the cove lights, and then to surround those cove lights or to accentuate the space, here are some recessed lights, 12 watts each, natural white, to accentuate the space. So yeah.
Now that we're done planning the spaces, now it's time to give them some elevation. So what I'm doing right now is I'm drawing up the section. Here, one can illustrate the vertical aspects of your design, such as the elevation of your furniture, the floor heights, the walls and their textures and finishes, and so much more. There's also here where you can see how I applied the inspiration taken from my mood board into my design. Okay, so now that we're done with all of that, now we have enough drawings to draw up a perspective. Let's go. Now the perspective is basically an illustration that stimulates what it's like to actually be in the space that you have designed. So what I'm drawing up now is an example of a one-point perspective drawing where all the lines intersect at one point in the horizon line. And there we have it. We finally finished designing our container home. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye, I guess.